The number one way to sell your KDP coloring books with no audience is exactly what we're going to talk about today. And I'm also going to share with you some tips on the right strategies to have in place in order to make those sales. But be sure to stick around until the end of the video because that's where I'll be sharing the number one way to sell your KDP coloring books on Amazon. So if you follow this channel, then you probably heard me say that I published one book and that grew into a successful coloring book company selling tens of thousands of books on Amazon. And I started from zero, just like you. So I understand how selling your KDP coloring books without an existing audience for that niche can be challenging and make you feel uncertain because it really can be overwhelming when you're starting from scratch. You might be having all these thoughts like, will anyone even notice my book or appreciate the hard work that I put into making this book? Or what if nobody even likes my book enough to buy it? Those are actually the same types of thoughts I had when I first started. But this is where your belief sets in because you learn to start trusting God during times of doubt or uncertainty. Welcome back to this Bible Time with Toya chat. In 1 Kings 19, Elijah went through a period of uncertainty as well because he had just proved that his God was the true and living God. And even though he had shown the people that they should stop worshiping Baal because he really had no power, instead of them repenting and turning away from worshiping idols and false gods, they got angry. And so Ahab, who was the king during this time, was married to Jezebel, and Jezebel wanted to take prophet Elijah's life. And so when Elijah found out about this, he ran. He was actually uncertain if he wanted to continue on the journey because he couldn't understand why, after they saw fire fall down from heaven and all of the things that God had done, why the people couldn't repent and why they wanted to take his life. So it was discouraging for him because it was like, listen, these people crazy. They're trying to come after me. I'm doing what you told me to do. And it ain't really looking like they want to hear a prophet. But then God sent an angel to minister to Elijah and to feed him so that he can be strengthened for the journey. So once he was strengthened, he was able to keep going and fulfill the vision that God had for his life. So let's talk about it. What are some strategies that you can use if you're uncertain about how to sell your book on Amazon with no audience? Like I said, we're going to start from bottom to top because I'm saving number 1 for last. The strategy number 5, you want to make sure you optimize your book listing. So you want to make sure your title, subtitle, your description, and your keywords are optimized so that they can be picked up in Amazon's algorithm. So in order to do this, you want to make sure that you use relevant keywords that your target audience may be searching for. So this is going to take a little research on your end, and you're going to want to think about who your book is for. Now, one of the ways that I encourage you to do this is by going to Amazon's search tool and then looking up some of the books that may be similar to the type of book you may be publishing. Look at their titles and subtitles and see if they are including any type of keywords, and then use those keywords to do another search in Amazon to see what types of keywords those keywords trigger. Because when you go to Amazon's search tool, the keywords that come up in the search tool when you start typing are the same words that other people have been searching for. So you want your book to contain those important words or phrases because that is how people are going to find your book when they're looking for a book similar to yours, even if they know nothing about you. Strategy number 4, you want to have a professional cover design. Now, I cannot stress this enough. Your cover is going to be the first thing someone sees when they are scrolling on Amazon to look for a book like yours. So let's say someone does not know you exist. They're simply coming to Amazon because they're looking for a self-care coloring book. When they come to Amazon, the first thing they're going to see when they're scrolling is the cover of your book. So you want to make sure your cover stands out and is very professional, or at least something that is going to grab the attention of your target audience or your potential customer. So look at some of the other covers of books that are similar to yours. Look at the colors that they're using. Look at the fonts they're using. How big are the fonts? Look at what types of images they're putting on their cover. All of those entities are important when you're trying to sell a book. And one of the things I always say is put yourself in the customer's shoes. So let's say you got church on Sunday and you trying to find you a nice wig. You scrolling on Amazon, you looking through. Not gonna stop scrolling until you see a picture of one of the wigs that stands out to you. So if you're looking for a wig that, let's say, has color in it, then when you see the color that you like on a wig as you're scrolling, you're gonna be like, oh, hold on, let me look at this one. Then you're gonna click that picture. The reason that you click that picture is because it stood out to you and it was something you were interested in. That is the same exact thing your potential customer is going to do. So a visually appealing cover can increase your chances of your book being seen. If you have any type of design skills and you feel confident that you can create your your own cover, then you can check out my video here where I'm showing you how you could create a cover using Midjourney artwork. But let's say you create your cover and then you go back and look at some of the other books that are like your books and you like, my cover ain't quite adding up. Then you may want to hire somebody. And for this, you can use sites like Fiverr to search for Amazon KDP book cover. You can use my link in the description and I'll link the guy that I've actually used before to do a book cover for a client of mine. But 3, you want to have competitive pricing. Girl, what that even mean? A price is a price. Almost. What I mean by competitive pricing is when you're doing your research for other books that are like yours, you want to start looking at everything about the book. So not only the cover that we talked about, not only the keywords that we talked about, but you also want to start looking at what the price of their book is if the book is selling. Because after your cover gets their attention, most people are going to then look at the price. I know that's how I shop when I go back to my wig scenario. When I see something that pops to me, I look at it, click on the picture. Next thing I'm scrolling to is how much is this? And if that price ain't looking like some of the other prices, I'm going to back out of that. And I keep on scrolling to see if I can find me one that's a little closer in the price range that makes the most sense. So let's say you're seeing that some of the coloring books in your niche are selling for $6.99, but when you go to put in $6.99, you see that your royalty is going to be way less than what you wanted or what you thought you were going to get for your book. What I would suggest in that type of scenario is, since you have no audience, go ahead and set your price at the price that other books in your niche are already selling. And then once your book starts gaining momentum and you start seeing some sales with your book and start getting some reviews on your book and things like that, then you can go in and increase that price so that you can get the royalty that you want to make for your book. So that brings us to strategy number 2. You want your book to have quality content. Now, when someone is originally looking for your type of book, they're not gonna just know if quality content is in the book. They won't actually know that until they get the book, look through it and things like that. But what people can do to see if the type of content they're looking for in the book, if you add what's called A+ content to your book, which is where you can show like inside pages of your book and things like that under the, I think it's from the publisher section on Amazon, then people get a chance to see a little inside of your book. So they'll know, okay, this is the style, this is what I'm looking for. So yeah, let's go ahead and add this book to cart. Now, another reason that you want your book to be high quality is because your reviews are going to be based off of the quality of your book. So if people start buying your book and they say, "Child, this book ain't nothing like I thought it was going to be. Let me go on here and leave this book a 2-star review." That is going to mess up the algorithm with your book, because you don't want people to start being unhappy with the content that you're producing. Because if other potential customers scroll down your book and your cover captures their attention, so they decide to click on it, they look at the price looks right to them, next thing they're gonna look at is the review. If all the other stuff checks out and then your review is 1.7, like that's not gonna add up. They're gonna probably keep scrolling. So all of these things need to be in sync and in line with one another. And by the way, since you're interested in this topic of making sales when you don't have an audience, I do recommend that your overall goal be to build an audience and build a community, because this is important for sales in the long run for your book. I created a program called Book Bag University where you can learn all the strategies I've used to go from $0 selling books on Amazon to 6 figures in 1 year. I break all that down and show you how you could do the same thing, and the link is in the description. Okay, so now that we have the fundamentals in place, let's talk about strategy number 1 to sell your coloring book with absolutely no audience. And that is Amazon ads. You can use targeted advertising campaigns right on Amazon where your potential customer will be buying the book. And if you're not familiar with ads, Amazon has what's called sponsored ads. So you can go in from the back end of your KDP account by clicking on the marketing tab. Then choose your marketplace. For me, it will be Amazon.com. And then you'll be able to click on create campaign to set up your first ad. Now, when you're setting up your first ad, I do recommend that you set it up using automatic ads. When you set it up using automatic targeting, Amazon will target the keywords and the products that are similar to your book. Not only can you make sales from those ads getting shown for your book, but you can also collect the data that Amazon gives you of what keywords they're using with your book. And then when you have those keywords, you can then take those keywords and plug them into your 7 keyword section that Amazon allows you to have so that more customers can find your book. This is good because let's say you're running ads and then you decide to stop running ads, but you're using the keywords that were in those ads, then it's almost like your book is going to show up in the algorithm using those organic keywords that you're no longer paying for. So Amazon ads can be a great way that you can get your book in front of your potential customers with having absolutely no audience. So just remember, although you may be feeling a little uneasy because this may be your first time trying ads or setting up ads, uncertainty is a natural part of the self-publishing process, especially when starting with zero audience. But instead of letting it stop you and feeling like, well, since I don't know how to do it, I'm not going to worry about it, look at it as a new opportunity for growth and learning. Just think back to Elijah, how he could call fire down from heaven, but he still had those moments that he went through doubt and uncertainty. But what kept him was trusting in the Lord. And the Lord sent an angel to him to minister to him and to give him the tools that he needed to finish the journey. So how do you know that the Lord is not putting someone in your life that has the strategies and tools that you need to make it through your self-publishing journey to sell more books? Thank you so much for liking and sharing this video. And let me know if you'll be considering Amazon ads as a strategy to sell your coloring books. Until next time, bye-bye.